How to save big bucks when you're buying your first home? Make sure to stay tuned to this episode of Prime Properties TV. I promise you, it'll be worth it. Good day, Toronto. Welcome to another episode of Prime Properties TV. I'm so glad you could join us here. We just got daylight savings of 2 weeks ago or so, which means that winter is coming, which I don't mind too much since that it means that there's more light in the morning, and I'm kind of a morning person anyways, so I'm totally cool with that. But one of the most enjoyable things about the colder season in Toronto is that the Chinese hot pot season is happening. If you haven't heard of it, it's basically a style of eating with a giant flavored broth pot where you poach food in this broth and you dip it in delicious custom concocted sauces. Awesome. The best for a cold night. We just had our first one not too long ago in the season, and much more to come. It may sound really weird to those of you who've never actually tried it, but it's really, really awesome. You can trust me on this one. There are a lot of hot pot restaurants in Toronto if you want to give it a try. I just prefer the ones at home. So in this week's episode, I wanted to talk to everyone about the explanation of how credits for first-time home buyers work. Yes, there are many perks of being a first-time home buyer that the government implements, but this one is probably by far the best. So one of the major ones that we're going to discuss today is the rebate. The rebate you get for land transfer tax. This is not a small amount. So before I go further, let me give you guys some background information, okay? In the province of Ontario, when you buy and sell a property, the title, the name changes, and the buyer is responsible for paying what we call the land transfer tax. This is a tax that must be paid to the province of Ontario for buying that property. The calculations is based on like a sliding scale, which I won't get into, but you can call it somewhere around 1.5% of the purchase price. So definitely not a small amount, especially if you're buying a larger home. If you want the exact number, just Google land transfer tax calculator. There's a whole bunch of them online. So if you're buying a $500,000 condo in Ontario, you're going to be paying about $6,475 in land transfer tax. Not small, right? And this is on closing. So back in 2008, everyone's favorite mayor, David Miller, added another land transfer tax specifically to Toronto, the 416. The calculations are almost the same, so you could say that for buying a property in Toronto, your land transfer tax effectively doubles. So back to the example we were talking about on that $500,000 condo, you're in then for another $6,475 in land transfer tax. That brings your total whopping land transfer tax for Ontario and Toronto to a little bit under $13,000 for a $500,000 purchase. That's a lot. So as a first-time home buyer, you're eligible for a rebate on, wait for it, both land transfer taxes. You can get up to $4,000 for the Ontario one and $4,475 for the Toronto one. So that's a savings of almost $8,475 for being a first-time home buyer. Perks. So here are the interesting scenarios that always come up and I get asked about, okay? So your spouse has a house and you don't. Do you qualify for the entire rebate? Most of the time you are eligible for about 50% of the rebate, but there is a chance that you qualify for 100% depending on how much of a spouse your partner is based on the Family Law Act in Section 29. So you may be able to qualify for the full rebate, but you know what? I would definitely recommend you get it checked out with your trusted lawyer or accountant just because everyone's situation is different. The variables are living together, when you got married, cohabitation, citizenship, and some other stuff, okay? So same applies to buying a property with your child's name on it, exact same thing. Here's another scenario. My first home is an investment. Then I have to say you will not qualify for this rebate at all because you have to live in the property for the first 9 months when you get keys to qualify for that. Now, some people do live in the first 9 months and then start renting it out. But again, that's completely up to you. Of course, you can get this rebate beforehand just by checking a box on when you're closing about whether you're going to live in it or not. But you know what? If the CRA finds out that you didn't live in it and you're renting it out and it's investment, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And I 100% don't recommend doing that. 100% do not. Another question I get a lot is if I buy in the 905, do I avoid the land transfer tax from Toronto? The answer is absolutely yes. If you buy the cities like Markham, Vaughan, Mississauga, you avoid the Toronto land transfer tax and the land transfer tax rebate from Toronto, okay? But you still have to pay the Ontario land transfer tax and you're still eligible for the Ontario land transfer tax rebate. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. If you learned something, subscribe to Prime Properties TV in the channel description below. If you have any questions or have any concerns or comments, make sure to leave them in the comment section below or feel free to reach out to me. And remember, make sure to subscribe to the Prime Properties TV mailing list in the description below if you want weekly goodies and first access to great investment opportunities. And make sure you guys remember to share this with family and friends, and thank you guys for watching. Until next time, happy real estating. Make sure you click the thumbs up. There's no like button, is there? That's Facebook, right?